Welcome back to the Matchday Roundup. We have got match week 11 for you today. We have got the Western Sydney Wanderers versus the Newcastle Jets, and we have got Hills United versus Sydney FC. Now, you may remember last week that I said that I would be away on a camp and therefore could not host today's episode. That is still true. I'm just here for the introduction and for the outro. So, I just got back from at camp. It was really fun. I made a cool video and I'm going to link it in the show notes because I think it's really cool and I want you all to see it. But that's not important. What's important is that we have Matt Mallows taking over on today's episode. He did an interview with Dimitri Liolio-Davis and he covered all the matches, all the tables and statistics that you need. So yeah. Sorry, I just realized I wanted to add one more thing before we get into the episode, and that is that because Matt is doing this on his own sort of system and softwares, whatever, compared to what I use, the audio quality for both himself and the interview with Dimitri is a bit lower than the standard of the episodes, but I think he should be fine. Yeah, just to give you the heads up, and yeah, without further ado, Matt, take it away.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Powered by Football podcast. My name is Matthew Mallows, and I'm filling in for Jax Taylor this week, who is currently at a camp. So yes, you get to listen to my lovely voice for this episode. Um, we had some pretty riveting games of football over the weekend, but before we get into talking about those, I would like to first congratulate the Newcastle Jets Premier League side who clinched the title in their 2-0 win over the Western Sydney Wanderers in the morning game. It was a pretty thrilling game. Newcastle Jets controlled most of the game, with Wanderers only being able to get out here and there, but they did have a couple of shots from some counterattacks. The first goal was scored by Jordan Crane from a cross across the box from Chris Hastis, and the second goal was a worldie of a spin kick from Ryan Seck from about the halfway line. It was quite quite a shot. The Wanderers goalkeeper couldn't quite get across to keep it out. And with me here is captain of the Newcastle Jets, Dimitri Liolio-Davis. Welcome, Dimitri. How are you on this fine evening?
Thank you very much for having me. Yeah, I'm doing well.
That's
Fresh off
good.
yesterday's match, so going well.
Yes, congratulations on winning the title. Back-to-back champions. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, really good. Definitely something that we aimed for early on, and we've been training since January, so definitely wanted to pull through and get as many wins as we can and get this title and get the back-to-back title. We hadn't won the local league for a while, so it feels good to get back-to-back titles.
Yeah, it's definitely quite a hard thing to do going back to back. Did you have to do anything different in preparation for this year's season as opposed to the last one?
We definitely started training earlier, but that's just on our coach Cameron. He really drives the team and forces us to be as good as we can be. Definitely training hard, and we got Shannon as a new recruit, Jordan as a new recruit, because last year we had a few troubles with numbers when people would get ill. I mean, it's lucky we've had the extra numbers because James Kim is sick and in hospital, so if we didn't have those extra players and full team effort, it wouldn't have been the results that we've been getting.
It is certainly quite a hard thing to do to back up like that. Certainly winning it in style. You are hoping to go through the comp undefeated now that you've wrapped up the title so early on?
Yeah, that's our aim. We've got a few other things that we are planning to do as well, so hopefully the wins keep coming and yeah, the team keeps improving on the way to the club championships.
Any hints as to what your lineup's going to be for the club championships in August? You are looking to field the same side, or you got any
Yeah,
surprise inclusions we don't know about yet?
pretty much everyone that has played minutes in Premier League this season will be going, and then we may have a surprise or two as well.
So I guess with back-to-back titles under your belt, is there anything else you're hoping to achieve this year in either grade? I know obviously you mentioned wanting to go through undefeated, but is there anything else you guys are looking to kind of achieve as a team?
Hopefully the reserve grade team can win out, especially a big 6-point game against St George in the reserves. They're still undefeated in the reserve grade. They just had a lot of draws, so that's what's drop down into second position. So hopefully they can get up as well. And if they can get an undefeated season and we can get undefeated in both leagues, I think that'd be a fabulous achievement.
That would be quite a fabulous achievement. Have there been any surprises for you during this season, such as like player improvements? Has there been any particular player from your team that has surpassed your expectations for the season?
Yeah, I think the whole reserve grade team has really improved a lot. And then Shannon playing both grades, I think he's taken a step up. He turns up to training pretty much first every week, and he's really absorbed everything that we've taught him because we kind of threw a lot of information at him. It's a totally new play style for him coming into the team fresh. And yeah, he's really picked up everything. Super, super confident that he's going to be a very, very special player.
Yeah, it's just a shame that he had that year and a half off. I reckon he'd be up there as a proper Premier League player. To me, he's been just absolutely fantastic
Yeah, for
this
sure. In the
year, and
reserve grade side, he's been
just
playing so well as well.
improving so well. I mean, he did get a little lost in Premier League at the beginning of the season, but he has just fully embraced it and has been doing absolutely fantastically ever since.
It's pretty crazy. Like I said, we throw a lot of information at him. Our training sessions are pretty long. We go for 2 hours every week. It's the night before the game as well, so that can be tiresome for some of the players having to train for 2 hours the day before and then get to sport the next day. But he's just done excellent. That absorbs everything, listens so well, and picks everything up very easily.
I guess talking a little bit about some of your competition, I guess which team has given you the most trouble this year, or are they all kind of pretty even in terms of giving you a run for your money? Because you've had some pretty close games this season, certainly as the season's gone on.
I think every team gives us trouble in their own way. Hills have been super hard to break down. I don't think we've gotten a big score against Hills maybe this season yet. The Wanderers, we had a couple of early big scores, but then yesterday we played them with their new look lineup and formation, how they've moved Andy into the middle now, and it was very, very tough for us to break down. Only getting like the one goal in each half, and Ryan's goal was a bit of a worldie, so
it was
a pretty low XG if you've got XG in the power chair football. So it was hard to break them down. Sydney are the first team to score against us all year as well last week. So I guess every team has their own way of making it difficult for us, and that's what we try to mitigate, I guess, in training the night before the games and in preparation to try and beat the teams that we play the next day, basically.
Yeah, just touching on your defense, one goal all season is incredible. Do you practice your defense a lot, or do you just kind of defend with your attack? Because you don't tend to be actually doing a lot of defense a lot of the time.
Yeah, I guess we try to keep possession and keep the ball up the other end. The main thing that we practice is open play stuff. So because sometimes we only get, say, 6 to training, if we have a 3-on-3 and there's no goalkeeper, if I am playing the middle, I'm very conscious of not even allowing, when we play those games, we don't allow long goals to count, because if a ball would get through, there would be a goalkeeper there normally. So we try and make it so that the teams have to score once they get into the attacking third. But I try and make a point of not allowing even the long goals to get in, and I guess that just helps because it transitions well into the regular game when we've got the 4 players the next day and all about open play. We don't really do set piece defense, but luckily we don't have to face many set pieces. So hopefully that's something that we can continue on, because maybe set pieces break us down.
Yeah, and I guess looking to the future club champions wise, obviously looking to bounce back from, I believe you went out in the semis last club championship.
We lost to Melbourne 1-0 in the semis last year.
Unlucky last club championship. You had a couple of, I believe a couple of people got COVID. Yourself
myself
included.
James. Yeah, James and myself.
Yeah, so I guess do you have any predictions for this club championships coming up? Who do you think is going to be the team to beat?
I'd like to hope that Wigan will make the final. I mean, if we could make the second semi-final last year. We had great help from Jesse McCarthy, luckily. Joined us last year, and that was the cover that we exactly needed as James got sick, and Jesse did a great job filling in for us there. and we had Jake playing, so we had just enough to fill a team. So that's why this time around we've gone for like a much larger squad, just in case anything like that happens. But yeah, hoping to win, obviously, at least make the final, and it's pretty hard to work out who else will be there because I've heard rumours of marquees for certain for certain teams. And then I'm not even sure like the lineups for most of the team. Once the lineups come out, we'll be able to more work out who looks like is going to be the strongest opposition and what we're going to have to prepare for.
Yeah, certainly a lot of confusion with some of what's going on. I hear one thing and then I hear a thing saying the opposite about this, that, who's playing for who, which teams are going, which teams aren't.
Exactly, yeah.
So yeah, all just a bit hard
So
to
for now,
prepare
we're just
for.
focusing on ourselves.
Yeah, that's fair enough. All right, well, I think that about covers everything. Thank you for sitting in for this interview.
No
Congratulations
problem.
again on winning the title.
Thank you very much.
I'd say hopefully you win it next year, but hopefully we win it next year. And good luck with the club championships.
Thank you very
So,
much. Thanks for having me.
no worries. Thank you for joining us. In the reserve grade game for the morning between Newcastle Jets and the Western Sydney Wanderers, it was a 0-all draw, with both sides having a fair few shots. Um, the Newcastle Jets looked most likely throughout the game, but the Wanderers held in there and almost scored a few of their own. And I believe that the 0-all draw was a fair result in the end, considering how many shots both teams are having at each other. The two games in the afternoon were again pretty riveting games. First off, the reserve grade clash between Hills United and Sydney FC, which ended in a 0-all draw. Again, so both teams had a fair few shots on target. Lachlan in particular for Hills United had one that had a pretty good shot that was just saved off the line, and Sydney had a few shots of their own through, I believe, through George and Harry, but alas, neither team could quite find the back of the net, and there was some great defense from both sides to keep it 0-all. And then in the Premier League game for the afternoon between Hills United and Sydney FC, that game ended in a 1-0 win for Hills United. It was a pretty close match for the first half, with both teams having a fair few shots and some brilliant defense from both teams to keep the ball out. But about halfway through the second half, Hills United scored through a unfortunate deflection off of Chris Suffield. Jacob Cross hit the ball in from a sideline down to Matthew Mallows, who was sitting in the corner. Matthew Mallows went for the cross across the top of the box and hit the back of Chris Suffield's chair, and it just bounced behind him and into the back of the net. Hills had to defend quite heavily for the last 5 to 8 minutes as Sydney FC really started to apply the pressure. But some brilliant defence from Matthew Mallows in goals and Chris Turnbull as the defender in the box managed to keep Sydney out. Okay, and now if we have a look at the table after the weekend's results, first off with reserve grade, we have Newcastle Jets and St George locked up, both on 19 points, with St George having a game in hand, only played 8 games, as opposed to the Newcastle Jets, who have played 9. Then we have Western Sydney Wanderers in third on 11 points. They are followed by Hills United in fourth on 6 points, and Sydney FC in last place on 5 points. For who's currently topping the stats in reserve grade, we have Shannon, who is currently topping the goals with 5. Shannon is also top of the assists with 4. And then we have Jaxon Taylor, who is topping the clean sheets with 4. Now, if we go to the Premier League table, as I said at the beginning, Newcastle Jets have sealed the title. They are sitting pretty on 25 points at the top of the ladder, with Hills United now sitting in second after that win against Sydney FC. They are on 13 points. We then have St George sitting in third on 11 points, and then Sydney FC in fourth and Western Sydney Wanderers in fifth. Both those teams sitting on 7 points. So fairly close in the Premier League for the battle for second, whereas the title race is still well and truly alive in reserve grade between St George and the Newcastle Jets, who for top of the stats in Premier League. We have Chris Hastis, top of the goals with 9. Then we have Ryan Seck with the most assists currently with 8. And Dimitri Liolio-Davis sitting on 7 clean sheets, and he's the top there. Again, congratulations to the Newcastle Jets for winning the title. I believe that's back-to-back titles, actually, that they've won. So congratulations, and I'll see you all next week. Well, you'll see Jax next week. He will be back from his camp. You may hear me again if Jax asks me to fill in, but until then, thank you all for listening and have a wonderful morning/evening, depending on what time you're listening to this.
You can get involved in power chair football here in New South Wales as an athlete, coach, referee, or volunteer by visiting the NSW PFA website linked below. Our season takes place in Glenwood at the Valentine Sports Park from the 24th of February 2024 to the 6th of July 2024 every Saturday. Contact info@nswpfa.org.au for more information. Just a quick note that the views of this podcast are mine and mine alone. The opinions and thoughts expressed do not necessarily reflect those of the NSW PFA. If you want to get in touch with the podcast, you can follow us at Powered by Football Pod on Instagram, join our Facebook group, Powered by Football Podcast, or follow our Twitter account, Powered by Pod. Thanks for listening.